Failure is something that haunts every artist. Anyone in creative fields really. And that's exactly where Richeh Tetia pierced my heart. Without facing failure, there's no growth. The artist just stagnates. You have to allow yourself to be better at first. And if you fail, I do feel like you will fail, but we can just try something else when it does fail. Now, talking is easy, but how do we actually overcome this? After all, most of people who try to learn art give up. I've lost count of how many of my friends have quit drawing. And speaking of drawing especially, there's this mix of emotional and technical. Art is made of emotion, of a burning passion, but it goes hand in hand with technique, dedication, and study. And if you focus only on technique, you get burned out at some point because it starts to feel like math. And if you focus only on emotion, you will eventually hit a wall where you just can't execute what is in your head. It's this balance that I want to talk about today, because you can only become a better artist, a better witch, if you have the courage to fail. If you're liking this video, please hit the like button and subscribe if you want to help me keep making content. The anime of Richeh Tetia just dropped, and over the last few days, I binged all the 13 episodes. I also read the manga only up to this point in the story, so this video is completely spoiler-free for what comes next. In Richeh Tetia, we follow Coco, a girl who is passionate about magic, but unfortunately, she can't be a witch. And why can't she? Because she wasn't born a witch. The very first page of the manga already questions this. Are athletes from the moment they are born? What about astronauts or singers? Are those things decided at birth? But then, what about witches? Right after that, there's this incredible, super meta visual colored page of the author drawing the manga itself. And I think it makes this parallel between being a witch and being an artist crystal clear. Just to give you a quick rundown of the beginning of the anime, Coco lives with her mother, and together they work as tailors. She has always loved magic since her childhood, and one day she received an illustrated book and a fountain pen from a pretty sketchy witch, but she didn't really understand what to do with it.
What am I supposed to do with this?
At the start of the story, we meet Richeh, a witch I had already seen all over the internet because people keep comparing him to Gojo, and I gotta say, I get it now. A problem comes up with a carriage belonging to some customers of the tailor shop, and Richeh offers to fix it. It's at this exact moment that we realize magic in this world isn't restricted by birth, because Coco hides and watches Richeh drawing, just drawing, and from that, magic happens. As artists, we've just heard since forever that some people are just quote-unquote born with talent for it, but that's just not true. And maybe for someone like me, who is already deep into this world, this sounds like a total cliche, but for a lot of people, it isn't. Some people think that you have to grow up drawing, and that past a certain age, you can't start anymore, but that's a lie. A quote-unquote talent, it's nothing more than just an interest pursued with dedication. At the end of the day, Coco realized that everyone can be a witch, everyone can be an artist. Now that we've established that the manga/anime is definitely drawing parallels to the real-life experience of learning art, what does failure have to do with it? Well, it's simple. The moment people face failure, it's the exact moment that most of them quit. But even artists who do keep going still struggles to deal with mistakes. And by analyzing the group of witches we meet later on, I can better explain this difficult relationship with failure. But now back to Coco. When she figures out how art is made, how magic is made, she takes that suspicious illustrated book and does something that every artist have done. She traces over something. But as it turns out, the magic that Coco has just drawn was actually a forbidden magic that almost cost her life. Richeh manages to save her just in time, but unfortunately, her mother is hit. Everything is frozen, and right now, there's no way to reverse it immediately since the original magic book was left inside the house. The rule of this world is to wipe the memories of the unchosen people, because magic in the wrong hands is way too dangerous. But he doesn't do it because the clues in that book are really important to Richeh. And now, no kid admitting this was one of the best first episodes I've seen in ages. But hey, I admit I can be really biased here because whenever a story tackles the struggles of being an artist, I always have a huge soft spot for it here. It's no wonder that Billy Bats is my second favorite manga. I want to talk about it here someday. I just need to figure out how. Anyway, now Coco is going to become a witch apprentice because she needs to learn art and fight that magic again to save her mother. And now we get to know the other apprentices. And this is the point I wanted to get. It's through them that I'll be able to map out a few types of artists and how each of them handles failure. And spoiler alert, maybe only Coco, who just started learning, has a healthy relationship with it so far. Richeh, Tetia, and Agott. Starting with Richeh here. She's a very stubborn, individualistic little witch, but the fact is, in this world where magic is drawn, she only wants to draw her own magic. She doesn't want to even look at other people's magic out of the fear of being infected by outside styles. And as an artist myself, I can safely say that I've gone through pretty much every feeling I'm mentioned here. Richeh is that typical artist who is obsessed with staying original and finding their own style. You know, this is a topic that follows artists since forever, finding their own style, their own original style. You can even find a bunch of art channels talking about this. It reminds me of a friend of mine that used to say he wouldn't take any art courses because it would kill his unique style, according to him. Richeh doesn't want to lose her originality. That's the failure she's trying to avoid. But what the anime and the manga show later on is that because Richeh lacks a foundation and a proper toolkit, when the real danger hits, she doesn't even know how to perform basic magic. It's very similar to when we, as an artist, try to pull off a complex drawing and hit a brick wall because we lack the fundamentals of drawing. You know, things like anatomy, composition, perspective, boring stuff, sure, but when you learn them, they take you to a whole new level. It's about learning from those who already walked the path before you. It's like taking a map to help you to explore. You can still pave new ways, but now you have a guide. Agott. Now, this girl is probably the one I can identify at most when it comes to my artistic journey. She comes from a noble family from what I saw, under a ton of pressure to be the best. This isn't the part that I related because I come from a humble background, but you get what I mean in a second. The thing is, Agott is extremely hard on herself. She studies day and night, trying to master all kinds of magic and learning the absolute best moments to use them. Unlike Richeh, who runs away from art fundamentals, Agott is that person who never stops studying, who is desperate to get better. But just like 10 women can get together to have a baby in less than 9 months, growth takes time. Skills has to be earned, but once you get it, it stays with you. So yeah, that's exactly what Agott can handle. For her, failure is that lack of knowledge and experience, the exact opposite of Richeh. But Agott struggles to see the good things she already masters, and there is no shame in being inexperienced at something, because at the end of the day, Kifrey doesn't want to see her burnt out of the desperate rush to grow. Who hasn't tried to draw something way above their current skill level to just quit out of pure frustration? That's what Kifrey fears for her. And now we get to Tetia. I think out of the girls, she's the only one whose inner feelings have been explored the least so far. And for me, Tetia gives off a major content creator artist vibes. She wants to show her work, she wants engagement, she wants love. And look, I'm not saying this is a bad thing. Honestly, even if you're the most evolved person in the world, having people love your art and send you digital little hearts on social media makes you happy. Yeah, it's no secret that these social media have completely hacked our brains, but that's a topic for another video, though I talked a bit about this on my video We Can't Afford to Be Offline. Now that we've talked about the other apprentices, let's get back to our main girl, Coco. At the beginning of the video, I mentioned a conversation between Agott and Coco. At that moment, they are fighting against a dragon in a parallel reality, created by magic. It's a tense moment. Everyone is putting their skills to test, and Coco, being the least experienced, can only contribute with ideas. But yeah, make no mistake, great art always comes from great ideas. And in their case, a collective idea. At that moment, Coco suggests using one of Tetia's magic, and they combine their strengths to execute it. Coco creates the strategy, Agott refines Tetia's existing magic, and Richeh executes it fast and with precision. The plan is crazy, but before they start, Agott, once again paralyzed by her fear of inexperience, her fear of messing up, says, "But what if we fail?" To which Coco replies that yeah, probably they will fail, but then they would just try again. Agott is just so surprised, not by the possibility of failing, but by the fact that Coco just accepts that she will fail and is completely fine with it. On this artistic journey, failure is literally part of the process. A person learns to draw well, not because they are born with a gift, but because they go through this trial and error process thousands of times. It's the same with musicians, with athletes, in all creative fields, you name it. Like Bob Ross once said, talent is a pursuit interest. Thanks for staying with me until here. See you next time, and keep drawing.